How's it going, everyone? Name's Jose, and in this video we'll be covering a question regarding inferential statistics, primarily focusing on sampling distribution of the mean and the central limit theorem. The problem starts off saying that the distribution of the amount of money students spend on books for a term is slightly right-skewed, with a mean of $400 and a standard deviation of $80. For part A, we're told if a student is selected at random, what is the probability that the student spends more than $425 on books? All right, so for these kinds of problems, I'm going to start with my parameters. Parameters are essentially any piece of information regarding my population. I'm told that for my population of students, there is a mean of $400. We're going to use the Greek letter mu to represent my mean of the population. That's equal to $400. And the standard deviation for the population is going to be sigma. And that's equal to $80 for the population as well. So we're given those parameters. We're also told that the distribution here is slightly right-skewed. Okay, so what does that look like? Over here on the right side, I have a normal distribution. A slightly right-skewed distribution would be something along these lines. Just slightly skewed. Either to the right, well, actually here it's slightly right-skewed, so I'm going to slightly skew all of my data to the right. And so that's what the curve would look like. It's actually very similar to that of the normal distribution. So I can say that the two are somewhat or approximately equal. So with that in mind, I'm going to start solving this problem. To find the probability, you first have to calculate the z-score for an individual student, for any individual student x. So to calculate the z-score here, z-score is going to be equal to your actual data minus the population mean over the population standard deviation. And that's going to be equal to, well, what's this going to be? What's my student? Well, right now we're trying to find the probability that this student spends more than $425 on books. So we're going to plug in 425 there. I know that my mu is 400. I put that over 80. I get 25 over 80. And then if you were to put this into a calculator, you would get 0.3125. All right, so a student that pays or spends more, a student that spends exactly $425 has a z-score of 0.3125. Okay, so what do we do with that? Well, we're trying to figure out the probability that this student spends more than that. Okay, so let's go over to the standard normal probabilities. And then this graph, this data that I have in the normal distribution I have displayed on the right is from College Board. So it's on the AP Stats reference sheet. So looking at this reference sheet, we're trying to look at where z is equal to 0.3125 or close to that, right? So if we go back, let's say that this is about 0.31. Let's round down. Okay, so if I look at my z-score, 0.3 is right here, 0.01 is right there, and in between I have 0.6217. Okay, so that means that the probability that z, or my z-score, is greater than 0.3125 is going to be equal to, these probabilities are for everything that's beneath your z-score. I want everything that's above it. I want the probability that someone spends more, not less. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 minus that 0.6217. All right, and then that gives me about 0.3773. All right, and so that's the probability that a student spends more than $425 on books. I would go more in depth, but I actually did just run out of time. I only have 15 seconds left. So if you have any questions, if you're interested in scheduling a session, definitely reach out. I'd be more than happy to help. I have a few AP Stats students that I'm currently helping this year for the AP Stats exam, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.